The applicants are requesting to rezone the 3 acres of undeveloped lot of property located within the Regional Commerce Center from industrial M1 zone classification to an AR agricultural rural residential zone classification for the purpose of building a home on the property. The property is located approximately 1/8 of a mile from Piney Ridge Road and is currently owned by Brandon Weeford and Amber Paxton. The property is further identified as tax map 42 lot 1I. The property is currently zoned industrial M1, and for the applicant to build a house on the property, they need to have the property rezoned to AR residential agricultural zone. The surrounding properties are a mix of commercial and industrial uses within the Commerce Center, which also include 4 single-family residences in the area. The property is joined by the National Forest to the north. The Regional Commerce Center joins the property to the south. The residential properties are located on the east and west and are zoned AR agricultural rural residential. Any effects on the adjoining properties would depend on the types of uses that are placed in the industrial park. The property is located, current access is the property goes through Adams Construction. Paxton submitted a copy of the deed book 411, page 258 through 260, referencing the non-exclusive easement and right-of-way to and from the above described property. According to the comprehensive plan, the property is located in an industrial area, which is defined as an area that are intended to provide land to Covington's industrial base and support uses in locations that are compatible with surrounding development and provide opportunities for growth. The applicant is not proposing screening and buffering and is not required by the ordinance. Development on the property will require to comply with all setback requirements for the AR residential zone district. The sides being 2 sides totaling 35 feet with a minimum of 15 feet on one side, the rear setback of 35 feet, the front setback of 65 feet from the center of the right-of-way. The property is not located within a flood hazard area according to the FEMA maps. The property has access to the public water, but there is no public sewer in this area. There is also access to other utilities such as electric, telephone, and cable service. The refuge collection will be provided by Alleghany County. A copy of the rezoning request was submitted to VDOT on July 18, 2022 for their review for compliance with the TIA requirements. If the rezoning request is approved, future development of the property will require compliance with all applicable local, state, and federal regulations, including the submittal of a detailed site plan. The Alleghany County Planning Commission held a public hearing on this request on September the 14th, 2022, and they made a recommendation at the time for the board to approve the rezoning request. Since then, actually today, I spoke with Mr. Weeford and Ms. Paxton, and they would be unable to attend. They had a conflict that come up suddenly that they weren't allowed to be here. I also heard from Rick James with Adams Construction. He contacted me today. He's the president. And he sent an email to kind of follow up on our conversation on the phone. And he said, it was very good to speak with you today, and I appreciate the research you did prior to calling me back. As we discussed, access, safety, and security remain major concerns for us. We have a number of occasions received late night phone calls from the Sheriff's Department about a gate being left open and persons being on site or currently have been on site. Additionally, it serves as a distraction for what I am certain has already constrained public safety resources. We have previously been the victim of a number of thefts to include wire and other various items. We have spoken to Mr. Sizemore on a number of occasions about the need to keep the gate closed for safety and security reasons, and lately things have been pretty good. When we purchased this property almost 20 years ago, we understood that Mr. Sizemore would require access through our property to access his shell and timber behind us, and we were okay with that arrangement. Mr. Sizemore never discussed the need or desire to develop it for residential or any other use. As you might imagine, we remain a highly regulated business with EPA, DEQ, OSHA, and VDOT. And the likes of the safety and security remain a top priority of our sometimes rural plant site. Unfortunately, I'm unable to attend the meeting this evening as I serve on the Roanoke County Planning Commission, and we have a public hearing this evening. As I looked at this proposal, a couple of items were noteworthy. First, the property appears to be landlocked. Second, the current zoning and surrounding zoning is M1. As you explained to me, the future land use designation for this particular parcel is M1. Downzoning of this particular parcel seems inconsistent with either the comprehensive plan and or the future use map, land use map, and is ill-advised. Suitable access doesn't currently exist, and access through our property is opposed by the above noted reasons. We do believe this downsizing would be a detrimental effect on the surrounding landowners and the county's ability to recruit a suitable industrial use for their desired economic development project off Timber Lane or Piney Ridge Road. In today's climate, it's very controversial to rezone land in an industrial designation, and the elimination of any industrial zone lands by downsizing limits the opportunity for industry to prosper in the future. For all of these reasons and more, I respectfully request the Board of Supervisors decline this application for rezoning. I remain open to conversations with any and all regarding this project and have no problem with the current landowner. Thank you in advance for your time and attention. After I got that email, I received another one, and Mr. Schultz, Greg Schultz, was supposed to show up tonight. Oh, he did show up. Did you want to speak instead of me?
You're ready, if you don't find it.
I received an email from Mr. Schultz. He's the vice president with Adams Construction, and he said he would like to expand on what Rick had already expressed concerns over. It is my understanding that the owners are looking to access this property through our plant site. The roadway going up the hill goes right through the middle of the stockpile area. The loader to feed the plant crosses this roadway numerous times during production to be able to feed aggregate to the asphalt plant. Also, we have on any given day 35 plus loads of asphalt going out of this facility. Last week we had days over 50 loads per day. In addition to hauling asphalt out, we also haul stock into this facility to produce. If we have 50 loads of asphalt going out per day, that means we have 50 loads of stock coming in. This is a very high-level facility with many moving parts and vehicles. I have real concern for safety with someone else trying to access through our property. Does anybody have any questions?
This is a landlocked property, too,
Yes, sir, it is a landlocked property.
and the only access is through the construction company?
Yes, sir, and it's an easement right-of-way that was given. It follows the old stagecoach road that goes through the middle of Adams Construction, and then it veers off across Dennis Harmon's property. It goes east and west.
That was one of my questions. I mean, even if you went through Adams, you still got to cross line.
And the easement covers that also.
That's deeded in there that way.
It is deeded in there.
How is Harmon's signed?
I'm sorry?
How is Harmon's property signed?
He's zone AR, I believe. It's on that map. I don't have it in front of me. It's in mine.
That's it.
Yes. This is not in compliance with our comp plan.
To me, it's, I'd hate to do this to Adams. I mean, technically, you could have children get off the school bus and go walking right through the middle of your asphalt plant. That's not very
Let you have
smart.
a photo.
Yeah, that's a major concern for us, that this easement goes right through the middle of our property. On any given day, it's a very high activity area. Children, pets. If you were my kids, you were down playing on the equipment. My kids knew what to do. I hate to think that a dog or a young child gets out and ventures down. After night or evenings when production is done, people coming down and into our property, we do keep the gate locked, and we'd like to keep that gate locked because we have had break-ins with people stealing copper wire and those various items.
I hauled probably 100 loads of slate out of that slate that they're talking about, a piece of property.
Yes, sir.
We were scared to come off our Mack trucks.
It's fairly steep, yes, sir, it
straight
is.
down. We ended up negotiating a deal with Philip Bowen and going all the way on down and coming out down his place. It's straight up.
We just don't understand why somebody would want access to an industrial facility. And we have a lot of moving parts and pieces.
It's not fair to your company to put you in that kind of spot.
With them, they're holding the survey easement, it's definitely, and it's counterproductive to the development of the site. I have to agree with Rick James about,
And this has all been zoned industrial, I don't, it's the flip back with the 100 acres there beside us.
You could have put up with us going through there with our dump trucks hauling slate, but to let the kids get off the school bus and go walking through, it's a whole different ballgame.
Yes, sir.
M1 use up there would be much different than residential.
Yes, sir.
most likely dawn to dusk type jobs where it's not, you wouldn't have to.
We don't have a whole lot of night work out of this facility like we do in some of our others, but there are occasions where we are required, whether it's VDOT or cities or towns, where we do have to produce at night. Folks typically don't like us making a whole lot of noise at night.
I'm curious about the easement. Does it say in there how wide it is?
There's a little copy of the plat in here, but I don't think it said the width. It's a wagon road. It's like 13 feet or something.
Stagecoach.
Stagecoach, yeah.
Where'd you get your hat?
Iowa.
Yeah, go Hawks.
You know the logo, I like it.
Yeah, I
Yes.
graduated from there.
Okay. Get out there
And I
a lot.
know what ANF stands for too.
Yes, sir.
50 feet in
Does it
width.
show 50?
It's 50 feet in width.
One, it also said in the application they had access to public water.
No, the 50-foot right-of-way is the drive to Commerce Drive.
Yeah.
The gravel road that doesn't give a width.
Okay.
Which if that's 50, I'd say that's like 10.
If it's drawn to scale.
If it's drawn to scale, that's right. Well, we're still under public comment, or public hearing.
Can I mention one more thing?
Yes, sir.
It said that they had access to public water, and if I remember right, the last time I was over, it's been 3 or 4 years, the slate pit is above the water tank. You're higher in elevation.
I know there's a hydrant at our entrance.
Yeah, that's down low, but not up at the top.
fed.
Because if I remember right, the tank is just right through the woods.
It's right below them. They've already talked to Public Works, and it is accessible. They'll just have to have a pump to bring it to their property.
So they would have to go down, tap into the tank, and then pump from the tank to the property.
Beth, just out of curiosity, was it perked? Has it had a percolation test done to it?
Yes.
Was it conventional or alternative?
That I haven't received the report yet. I know she went and had it tested.
Because on the shale pit, I wouldn't see it being conventional anyway, the money you'd have to spend. But we're still under public hearing, so do you all want to come out of public hearing? We don't have to take action.
You ought to ask if anybody in the audience.
That's what I was going to ask, but I didn't know what the plan going forward would be. So
Did we
let's-
get a report from the planning commission whether they
Yeah, it's
approved
a,
it or not?
Rodney Tingler was the only no.
So it wasn't unanimous then.
No. It's in there, I saw it.
Yeah, it's up there.
You got it.
Has any additional information come up since planning commission voted on it?
The only people I talked to was today when I spoke to the people with Adams. I've had no one else contact me about it.
So Adams did not talk to the planning commission before the vote?
No, sir, we were not aware of the easement through the property.
Yeah, I contacted him. I sent certified letter to him. It was signed for. I told Mr. James that today. He said he just never seen it. He's not sure where it went to once it made it to his office. But I have the certified card where it was signed for and delivered. But he said he wasn't aware of the planning commission public hearing.
Was the IDA and the city of Covington notified about this?
I notified Alleghany County.
I can't vote for it.
Anyone else in the audience have anything to say?
Can we work on this some more and then talk about it next month?
Yeah, we don't have to take action on it.
We could still introduce new information next month, Jim, if something else comes up.
So with that being said, I'll go ahead and close the public hearing. And it would be our request to have this on next week or next month's meeting as unfinished. Is that okay, Melissa? All right, moving on.